So Rick Waner. Rick Waner is with Rick Waner. He's a real estate broker, and residential real estate is his specialty. His location is southern Sonoma County and Marin. Years in this business is 8 years. Previous types of job are financial advisor, golf pro, and Taco Bell. Great experience.
Taco Bell.
Yeah,
You can edit the Taco Bell part out of the video, can't you?
His spouse is Sally of 16 years. Children are Kyle, Sophie, Josh, and Zach. Animals are Cookie, which is a guinea pig. 3 fish, he didn't name them. Oh my gosh. Hobbies, golf and tennis. Activities of interest, see hobbies. And his city of residence is Petaluma for 10 years. And Rick's burning desire is to add value to the lives of others. And something no one knows about him is he sat on the inside of the train tracks while a 100-car freight train went over it when he was 11. We heard about that last time. And his burning desire, again, is to add value to the lives of others.
Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, so I'll tell you, actually, since that is a rerun on the something you don't know about me, since you did know that from last time. Let's see, something else you don't know about me. One time I played golf with MC Hammer and Joe Montana in the same day. So how about that?
That's cool.
All right. So yeah, I am Rick Warner. I'm a real estate broker. I do help people buy and sell residential real estate. But as usual, I'm probably not going to talk too much about that today because, well, it's just not that interesting. So what I am going to talk to you about, it's a little bit of a rerun, but we have a lot of new members since the last time I kind of gave this 10-minute speech about getting referrals, and more specifically, how do you make that introduction? How do you connect with somebody who is somebody you want to connect with? To me, that's the most challenging part. Once I get over that initial hurdle of developing some kind of relationship, it's kind of smooth sailing from there. But to get to that part, it can be a little bit challenging for me. So there's a book called Endless Referrals. I've talked about it before. If you don't have that book, if you're in this room, that means you want referrals. And if you want referrals, you should get the book called Endless Referrals by Bob Berg. It's really, really fantastic. It's very specific and how to go about creating endless referrals. One of the most exciting parts in there for me at the beginning of the book, towards the beginning of the book, is talking about when you first meet with somebody, what do you say? What do you talk about? And what a lot of, and this is myself included, when I have met with the prospects or clients or somebody that I want to, kind of get them to do business with me, what do I do? What's everybody's kind of tendency when you sit down with somebody for the first time? Anybody? This is an actual question.
Tell them what you do. Give them your
card. Give them your card. Tell them what you do. What else? Talk about yourself, right? How awesome you are, all that stuff. And talk too much, right? I mean, that's what I get nervous and it's like, hey, let me tell you about all these exciting things I can do for you. How does that? Have you guys ever been on the other side of that? Have you ever been where you're being kind of sold on something? Does it work? Not really, right? I mean, do you get a sense like, hey, boy, we really made a connection? No, right? Why?
You just feel like you got a sales pitch.
Yeah, you got a sales pitch, and who are they talking about? They're talking about themselves, right? Kind of this self-centered thing. So one of the ideas in Bob Berg's book is this thing, and then you wrote another book called The Go-Giver. It's what about focusing in on them? What about focusing in on who they are? Where did they come from? That kind of thing. And this, by the way, my wife, who's been kind of, she's not shy, but she's not excited about going out and necessarily meeting new people. We talked about her doing this, and she's read this book. You should see her at parties now. I mean, she's not trying to create business. She just loves to go out and use these techniques at parties. Every time we leave a party, she's like, that was the greatest party ever. I met this guy, and he did that, and she did, blah, blah, blah. So this is really helpful, like, human being relationship stuff. But it ultimately can help you definitely create good, long-lasting relationships. I have no concept of time. How am I doing it so far?
You are doing a fantastic job. 5 minutes?
Did you just make that up?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think it's been 5.
Actually, you're in 3 minutes.
Thank you.
You're 7 minutes.
Did you want me to get over quicker? Actually, Werner, it's been 9 minutes already, so you're in your final minute. All right. I apologize for the crudeness of this. I just emailed this to myself off of notes. I had some computer issues this morning. But I wanted to give you what he coins what Bob Burke coins the top 10 feel-good questions, so that when you sit down and meet with somebody, you can ask these questions, and it kind of gets the conversation going. The idea is you don't necessarily go, okay, listen, Kathy, I'm going to ask you some 10 questions here. I want you to give me these answers. Number one, how did you get into? That's not how this works. It's most of the conversation-like. Thank you. So that you, these kind of get you started in that process. But I want to go through these one at a time, super quickly, and just kind of, I want you guys to tell me why do you think this is a good question. Just yell out one-word answer, a couple-word answers. So, the first question, how did you get started in the widget business, whatever business you're in, right? Why is that a good question?
It's open-ended.
Right.
People love to talk about themselves.
Open-ended, right? What?
Speak about themselves.
People love talking about themselves. Exactly. Gives you an opportunity to actually find that information out. Like that's information you would probably want to know, right? What do you enjoy most about your profession? What do you enjoy most about your profession? So now you're answering the question for me, which is fantastic. But that's a great thing. That's your answer. Why is that a good question?
Gives you an insight into that person.
Exactly. Gives you an insight into what makes them tick, what they like, they might even tell you what they don't like about their business. What separates your company from the competitor? Why is that a great question? Again, gives them a chance to talk about themselves, how great they are. Maybe you could find out who their competitors are. Maybe you should go meet with them as well, right? What advice would you give to someone just starting out in the widget business, right? Why is that a great question? How does that make somebody feel when they're asked for advice, right? Doesn't that make you feel good? When people ask you for advice, and then you kind of go, well, actually, it kind of feels good, right, when people ask you for advice.
You get to be the expert.
You get to be the expert, exactly. Who doesn't want to be the expert? I even claim to be the expert. 5 minutes. Okay. Where were we?
Number 5.
What expert? Thank you for repeating. That's what my wife does that. You didn't listen to me. I can repeat the last thing I did. That's not actually listening. And I did type these very quickly, so I don't think I've even said. What thing would you do? What one thing would you do in your business if you knew you couldn't fail? Right? So another good, just kind of open-ended question. That one, might throw them off a little bit, but if the conversation goes that way, you can definitely go there. What do you see as trends in the widget business? Again, we're going into the advice thing, right? We're making them feel good. We're making them the expert and giving them that perception. Describe the strangest or funniest incident you've experienced in your business. Why is that a good question? It's actually not a question, it's a statement, but...
Well, it makes it less serious.
Less serious,
I mean,
right?
it's just like a
More
strange
human.
It gives you an
Human
opportunity to
interaction.
bond on a kind of a storytelling moment, right? Gives you some insight into them on the outside of the business kind of thing. Okay, so you get the idea. Now what I'd like to do, just briefly, is I want to do this in action a little bit, just so that you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to pick somebody, who should I pick? Does anybody want to be my...
Picking.
Matt, okay. So, Matt, we're sitting down, we're having lunch, we don't really know each other. Maybe we're doing a one-to-one in B&I, right? So Matt, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today. I've been wanting to kind of connect with you, and I'm glad we got this opportunity. Give me an idea, how did you get into this business, this removalist business? I've never even heard of that before.
It's just something that fell on. I was unemployed for a little bit and had to find a way to make some income.
Okay.
I had a couple kids and found a way to make some money on the table, kind of, and build a business.
Right, okay, good. So you took, you're hardworking and you're trying to figure something out, you got a couple of kids, and you made this work, and now how long have you been doing it?
About 3 years.
Okay, 3 years. And how do you get most of your clients?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. So referrals.
Referrals.
Now, you mentioned that you've got kids. I didn't know that. How many kids do you? You said 2.
Yep.
And did you
Boys
say
are
you're
twins.
Twins, okay. How old are they?
3.
How's that going so far?
Rough.
Okay. Okay, so you get the gist. I just asked one question and then I kind of went off. What do I want to do? I just want to ask open-ended questions. Could I have gone on for half an hour asking him? Of course, right? Now, at the end of that thing, at the end of that whole conversation, have I talked about myself at all? No. If he never brings it up, am I going to? No, I'm not. Not at that meeting. Why would I? I'm going to have plenty of chances to talk to Matt. I don't want to leave him with any, like, oh, the only reason he asked me all those questions is because he wants to sell me something. I will have plenty of opportunity to talk to Matt about what I do. But most likely, what's going to happen? I can tell you, I've done this 1,000 times. What happens during the meeting?
Starts asking you.
Yeah, they ask you questions. Tell me about you. How did you get in this business? They want to know the same thing. If nothing else, they feel guilty for talking about themselves all the time. So it happens. But if it doesn't, don't worry about it. What if, in the middle of that whole thing, Matt goes, you know what? I'm looking to buy a house. Right? In my case. Right? Or, gosh, I need a commercial cleaner. What do you do? What do you do?
Give referrals. That's
No.
right.
You're nervous. You don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What is it? What do I do? What do you do?
We set up another time to meet with them about it.
Oh, the removalist. That's awesome. What were you going to do? You were giving your card, weren't you?
Maybe.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You'll have plenty of chances to do that. It's super easy to get diverted and go, really? You need chiropractic work? Let me tell you how awesome I am. Right? But you'll have a chance to do that. Am I out of time?
No, you got 36 seconds.
Okay, I got to tell you the most important thing, okay, at the bottom. What does it say? The one key question that separates the pros from the amateurs. Right? So at the end of the thing, blah, 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 you're talking to people, I have 22 seconds. How can I know if someone I'm speaking to is a good prospect? It says is a prospect for you. It should be is a good prospect for you.
Great.
Okay? How do I know? That's the kaboom at the end. You can do all this stuff, but you want to know because what does that do? What does that do for them? Somebody asks you that question. How does that make you feel? Somebody says, "Hey, Catherine, how do I know if I'm sitting in front of a perfect prospect for you?"
Well, I mean, at that point, if you're saying for me, I'm saying, well, what are you doing for me? Basically.
Exactly. People are going, wait a minute, this guy is here, or this gal is looking for, what can they do for me? Okay. I'm out of time. I would love to take questions, but you can tell I'm super excited and enthusiastic about this. Get the book, Endless Referrals, read it, implement it, your life will be amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.